Hi, my name is Mike. I'm a professor for social work management, and you are listening to Managing Around, the bi-weekly podcast about social science, culture, and management. Managing Around is part of the Talk About Organizations podcast network, a community resource and discussion platform for key ideas in management and organization studies, which is supported by our listeners.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Managing Around. Today we are diving into a topic that has been reshaping education and practice for decades. It's the question about how we can train future students and current professionals a multitude of so-called literacies. Although everyone is talking about IE skills at the moment, this discussion is not new. A seminal moment was the publication by the New London Group in 1996, where they introduced the concept of multiliteracies. They argued for an expanded understanding of literacy that goes beyond traditional reading and writing skills, to include digital, visual, and cultural literacies, to name just a few, acknowledging the impact of globalisation and technological advancements. Based on this, we could argue that training and education in academia and in the professional world should not only focus exclusively on these different literacy skills, but also empower learners to develop their literacy management skills. So stay tuned as we unpack the concepts of multiliteracy and literacy management and explore how it can revolutionize degree programs in social work management. Let's start by defining multiliteracy. This term was introduced by the New London Group back in 1996. See also the text in the show notes, highlighting the need to expand our understanding of literacy beyond just reading and writing. With the increasing cultural and linguistic diversity and the influence of multimedia technologies, literacy now encompasses a range of skills, what we call multiliteracies. These include information literacy, visual literacy, media literacy, cultural literacy, and information literacy, and many more. Each of these examples would make its own episode, but for today, we will keep the meta perspective. In social work management, this means professionals need to navigate complex social and cultural contexts, utilizing multiple forms of communication and information. It's about negotiating between management of personal, organizational change, quality management, accounting, and many more things. Digital literacy is just one piece of this puzzle in dealing with new technologies in everyday life. Let's move on to the second part, the need for new literacy management skills in teaching and education. So why does this matter for education, especially in degree programs for social work management? Traditional teaching methods like lectures, worksheets, and standardized tests and exams aren't enough to prepare students for the complexities of today's world. We need a pedagogy that embraces diversity and fosters critical awareness. This is where literacy management comes into play. According to Breuer and colleagues, and you find the text in the show notes again, literacy management involves the conscious reflection and control of how we handle information to create, to understand, and disseminate content effectively. Just like this podcast. It's not much, but you need to know a few things about this technology. For educators, this means continuously expanding our literacy repertoire and adapting new strategies like creating personal knowledge management systems to enhance learning outcomes. What I usually do with my students in the degree program of social work management is having them create their own podcasts about the concepts, instruments, or more difficult subjects that help them to creatively summarize them as a story or interview or maybe as a talk show. And by doing this, they acquire digital skills almost not knowing they do. But don't forget to discuss with your students not only about what content they have created, but also about the way, how they created it. This brings us to the third part of our episode today, where we want to think about implementing multiliteracies in degree programs. Now, let's talk about the practical steps. How can we integrate multiliteracies into social management degree programs? First, by designing a pedagogy of diversity, incorporates course materials that reflect diverse social, cultural, organizational contexts, and focus not only on the local. Encourage students to share their own experiences and perspectives. Second, integrating multiple semiotic systems. Use multimedia resources, videos, podcasts, infographics, and many more to gather the different learning styles. Encourage students to present their own work in various formats. For example, students can create a workshop for teachers about their favorite learning apps and make teachers understand how they use it. Third, promoting critical awareness. Teach students to critically assess how meaning is constructed in different contexts, especially with the rise of AI technologies in social work. By adopting these teaching strategies, we prepare students to be adaptable, culturally sensitive, and tech-savvy, key competences in today's globalized society. We slowly come to the end of this episode. To wrap things up, multiliteracies offer a comprehensive framework for enriching education and social work management. By expanding beyond traditional literacy, we equip students with the skills they need to navigate a complex, diverse, and technologically advanced world. As educators and program developers, it's our responsibility to integrate these principles into our teaching. This means continuously reflecting on and adapting our own literacy practices. Remember, education is not just about imparting knowledge, it's about empowering students to shape the social futures they will inhabit. Thank you for joining me today. I hope this discussion sparks new ideas. Until next time, keep managing around. Thank you for listening. Managing Around, the bi-weekly podcast about social science, culture, and management. Managing Around is part of the Talk About Organizations podcast network, a community resource and discussion platform for key ideas in management and organization studies, which is supported by our listeners. If you liked this episode, please leave a review on your favorite podcast website. There's also a link in the show notes. If you've got any thoughts on this episode, or if you've got any idea about new podcast topics or questions you'd like to discuss, send me an audio file or voice note to hi@profmanagement.de. For any non-audio comments, drop a tweet or DM to @profmanagement on Twitter or Instagram, please. For more information, visit my website www.profmanagement.de. Thank you for listening and see you next time.